Hello my friends, it's Sylvie Curry, Lady of Q. And today, June 2nd, 2020, I'm going to be making some steamed buns, some steamed bao, B-A-O, buns. And this is a type of dough which is of Asian cuisine. It'll be used and you can stuff things in it like pork. Or you can make it into, say, an open type bun where you can also fill it with various fillings and stuff. And we'll try both maybe, we'll see. Come on with me, join me and we'll make some steamed bao buns. I'm going to start off by first taking my half a cup of water, warm water, and I'm going to add the yeast to it, and I'm also going to add the sugar. And we're going to give that about 5 minutes for it to bloom, and then we'll proceed with the rest of the recipe. Stirring that up to get it combined. As you can see, my yeast has gotten foamy, and actually it was less than 5 minutes, so that sugar really made it take off. I've got my 2½ cups of all-purpose flour in the bowl, and I'm now going to add my ½ teaspoon of baking soda. This one's the baking powder. ½ teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of salt, and I'm going to let those dry ingredients combine a bit just to get them mixed. I'm now going to add my yeast, water, sugar mixture. Get all that in there. The sugar down at the bottom didn't dissolve. And my ¼ cup of canola oil. You can use canola oil, avocado oil, shortening, butter. And we'll combine that. The goal here is to combine all these ingredients and form a ball. So I'm going to let it knead on number 2 setting on the KitchenAid for about 5 to 8 minutes, and then we'll check it, and we're going for a elastic smooth ball. Okay, my dough has been kneading on the KitchenAid for about 8 minutes, and I call it smooth and elastic. Close enough, so there's some gluten development. So now I'm going to go on to the next phase, and that's to give it a rest. I have a lightly floured surface. I'm going to take the dough, and we're going to form it into a ball. The usual process of doing that. And then I'm going to actually lightly oil the inside of my bowl. I'm going to put the dough ball in there, cover it a little bit with some of that oil. Then we're going to put the cover on it, and we're going to let it rest for about an hour or so. And we'll come back to it and see how it's doing. I'm just going to put this in the oven with the oven turned off, and I'll put on the light in there, and that'll get the temperature up. Kitchen is a little bit cool this morning, so I want to make sure that it has every opportunity to get that yeast working. I had the dough in my oven, which was not on, for about an hour, and look, my dough has risen quite a bit. That's actually a little bit more than double. So let's roll it out here on the counter. Put a little flour on it. And we're going to roll it out to about a 1/4 inch thickness. And do note that as we're rolling it out, we are deflating it some. I've got a baking pan with some parchment paper which I cut out. I've got 12. And I've got a 3-inch round which I'm going to use to make each of my individual little buns. Okay. I'm going to take the dough that is remaining, I'm going to roll it back up into a ball and let it rest for about 20 minutes. And then roll it up also. Now that I've got them in a circle or cut out, I'm going to take a little bit of oil, put it on the outside there, take a chopstick, put it in the middle, fold it over, and move the chopstick, and I take the rolling pin and flatten it a little bit, not a lot of weight on there, and then we'll put it on the parchment paper. And do another one. Oil. And the chopstick just to give it placement or where you want it to bend. Remove the chopstick. Sort of flatten it a little bit, not a lot. And place it on the parchment paper. And those are the first 10. I'll roll out the remainder of them as soon as this dough has had a little chance to rest. I'm going to cover these and put them to the side to get them ready for steaming. It's going to be about another hour to let them rest and rise from here. These are some of my buns that are waiting their turn to go into the steamer. And I may have let them puff up a little bit too much, but that's okay. They know their job. I've got a steamer pan over the burner. There's about a little less than 1 inch of water in the skillet. And I'm going to put in the buns. And we're going to do this in batches, because they're going to rise even more. Maybe I can get one more there in the middle. Maybe. We'll try it. And I'm going to put the cover back over it. The steam is starting to come out of there. And we're going to give it about 10 to 15 minutes to steam.